Ia o te whātalo whātu le paia ma le mamalu o le tātou au fia, malo lava le soifu maua ma le langi e mama. It gives me great excitement and joy just to announce the Steinlager Series, which obviously features our New Zealand All Blacks, our Māori All Blacks, but in particular Samoa, Tonga and Fiji. This is going to be wonderful. It's going to be great for our New Zealand fans. It's going to be great for our Pacific Island fans as well. It's going to be really huge as well, particularly when we're thinking about some of the double headers that lie before us. So we're going to be really looking forward to this. Open for questions now.
First of all, Eroni, thinking about Mount Smart, what made you guys want to go there?
I suppose it's getting really, when you think about the heart and the hub of where Pacific people's population are, South Auckland is that place where we really do see our Pacific people. So we thought, let's get closer. Why don't we get closer to our Pacific communities? So Mount Smart Stadium, it's a first as well, obviously we're looking at too, so this is quite exciting. So for the All Blacks to be there.
Yeah, nice. Was Eden Park looked at? Because I mean, obviously it would be a traditional venue to be hosting an international test.
You're asking a real personal question, especially for me with being in the Blues and being part of Auckland. Obviously, the wonderful thing is we've got to really make sure that a lot of our grounds are provided for. So when we think about the other tests that are coming ahead, the Rugby Championship, of course, lies ahead, where Eden Park features as well. So we've got to think about too, one of the other areas, where our Pacific Island. So it's great that we can really, I suppose, in this game, be closer to the heart of where Pacific is. So that's why it's part of where it's going to be at Mount Smart Stadium.
Talk to, I suppose, the opportunity for the Pacific teams here. Rare, I suppose, to see them play not only the All Blacks but also the Māori All Blacks. Just wonder if you talk to the opportunity in front of those Pacific teams coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also part of the, obviously Samoa and Tonga are vying for the a berth at the Rugby World Cup, and so having that sort of a build up towards that, but also too it gives them an opportunity to see a lot of their players based around Australia and New Zealand have an opportunity to really push their chances for making the World Cup squads as well. So it gives them an opportunity to kind of build towards that. So this is why this is exciting, and of course with playing against the All Blacks and of course the Māori All Blacks as well, it's exciting as well.
It's not too long ago you were here talking about Moana Pasifika and Fiji drew it into Super Rugby. Now we've got tests against Fiji and Tonga and Samoa. It seems like things are trending in the right direction for Pacific Rugby. Would that be fair to say? I
think it is really wonderful opportunity really that we can see the continuing building those relationships between New Zealand Rugby and of course our home nations of Samoa, Fiji and Tonga. You've mentioned Moana Pasifika, and I suppose it is a kind of an opportunity for when you're thinking about the recruitment process that Moana Pasifika has to go through, and no doubt it also gives the opportunity for these players perhaps to push opportunity to play Super Rugby next year, what it might look like next year.
Do some of the scenes of, I guess, the Rugby League World Cup come to mind when it was a sea of red at Mount Smart for Mati Tonga? Hopefully repeat those sort of scenes that come to life there.
Absolutely, and I think this is the exciting thing about this festival season. Kind of when you're really thinking about is having our communities involved. It really does kind of really want and that desire for our Pacific communities to be seeing a sea of red, a sea of blue, and a sea of white for Fiji, and of course. It just really provides for a wonderful festival, so that's what we're looking for. And of course the opportunity to play against the All Blacks and the Māori All Blacks, this is wonderful.
How special do you expect it to be for some of the All Blacks to play 3 Pacifica teams in a row, given the connections?
That's a really good question. I suppose it really does give an opportunity to acknowledge our Pacific boys that represent the All Blacks. And it is playing at, obviously for many of them who are from South Auckland, in places where really a lot of population of our Pacific are, it really does acknowledge them. And I think for a long time that, if I just speak of my own experience, it warms the heart of the players. I think many of them, like Artie and others, have talked about and asked about how we can more acknowledge our Pacific communities and have a lot more games against against our Pacific nations as well.
There's been a lot of negatives coming out of COVID. I suppose this is one positive. You lose the Italian series, but you get an opportunity like this.
And I think that's the wonderful thing about it. We are looking at it. It does provide a wonderful opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity we can see there for the players, for the teams as well as they prepare for World Cup berths. And so this is great. And I think that's, we would hope that we can continue this build long-lasting relationships with our Pacific home nations too.